Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. Today we are going to make these really easy coasters. The name of the coaster is Sunburst coaster. Here you can see two different set with different color combination. You can make sets of 4 or 2 based on whichever combination you like most, and you can also use this pattern for any of your other crochet projects as well. So let's get started. We are going to start off with the center part in this dark brown color, and we're going to make a magic ring. To make a magic ring, yarn over twice over 2 fingers and pull this loop under, and then chain one to secure the magic ring. And once you have chained one, you can take the magic ring out of your fingers, and into this magic ring we are going to make 12 double crochets. So this is the first double crochet, followed by the second double crochet. So similarly make a total of 12 double crochet into the magic ring. Here I am assuming that you know the basic of crochet, so I'm not going in detail on explaining each stitch. If there is any doubt, please do comment in the comment section of this video and I'll try to help. So here when we started off with a chain of one. The chain of one does not count as a stitch, so apart from the chain of one you need to make another 12 double crochets into the magic ring. One more thing I would like to point out is I have not started the video with details on what things I am using in today's video. So if you would like to know the things used, the hook size and all the other details, that part will be available in the description of this video. So do refer to the description part. Also, I have a Etsy shop where I publish written patterns. So if this pattern is already published, a link to that pattern will also be available in the description of this video. So do refer to the description part of the video. So here we are making 12 double crochets, and once we are done with 12 double crochets, we are going to pull the tail yarn and close the center or the magic ring. So we're done with 12 double crochets. You can count and check, and after that pull the center tail yarn and close the magic ring. Here I have used a stitch marker just to mark the first stitch of this round, so that I do not confuse it with any other stitch. You can do this for each round. Now slip stitch to the top of the first stitch, and after the slip stitch we are going to chain one and pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then we're going to trim the brown yarn off. So we have now two tail yarns. These tail yarns you can stitch in using a needle, or you can, in my case I like to use a smaller crochet hook and pull them through few of the existing stitches. So the center tail yarn, I'm just going to pull it through few of the stitches that I have made in the magic ring, and once I feel that the tail yarn is secure, I'm just going to trim off the excess. So here I have just pulled the tail yarn through few of the stitches, and I'm going to trim off the rest of the tail yarn. As for the second tail yarn, what you can do is you can turn your circle the other way, and through the back loop of the uh, stitches you can just pass it through them, because we're going to make our next round, and when we do this next round, these stitches I mean these this tail yarn will anyway get hidden. So just pull it through the back loop of the stitches and trim off the excess. And now we are going to start with our second color. So this is one shade of yellow or light green, you can say. So I'm going to make a slip knot using this yarn, and I'm going to pull this slip knot between two double crochets. So here I am not inserting my hook into the stitch, instead I am inserting my hook between two double crochets. So this is as I'm showing here, I'm inserting my hook between two double crochets, pulling the slip knot under it, and now I'm going to make a chain of one. This chain of one is just for securing and is not a stitch, and into the same space I'm going to make one puff stitch. So to make one puff stitch, we will be yarning over 3 times. So this is like the first yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, pull a loop through it. So this is the first one. So this is the second one, yarn over, pull under the stitch, and this is the third one, yarn over and pull under the stitch. So you should have a total of 7 loops in your hook, and now you can pull through all the loops and then you can chain one to secure it. Similarly, we will make the next puff stitch in the next space between the two double crochets. So you're going to yarn over and pull under this space 3 times, such that you have a total of 7 loops in the hook. And once you have 7 loops in the hook, pull through all of them and then make a chain of one. So we're going to do this, we're going to repeat this pattern a total of 12 times, so that we will have a total of 12 puff stitches by the end of this round. So continue making the puff stitches and then make a chain of one between the puff stitches. And here it is not necessary for you to start from the first stitch, or you can connect the slip knot or pull the slip knot through between any two double crochets and start making the puff stitches for this round number 2. So continue making the puff stitches. It is just a repetition of the same pattern. So here I have fast forwarded it. In case you want to see it in slow motion, you can reduce the speed of the YouTube video also. So here I'm almost at the end of this round number 2, and I'm making the last 2 puff stitches. So this is the last puff stitch, and once I'm done with this puff stitch, all I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. So we're going to make a chain of 1 and then we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. Here too you can mark the first stitch if you feel marking it makes it easier for you to identify the stitch. And then you're going to after making the slip stitch, going to chain 1, pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim off the yarn. So this tail yarn also we are just going to pull it through the back loop of this round. So when we work our next round, this tail yarn will anyway get hidden, so you do not have to put much effort in stitching in or hiding the tail yarn. Just pull it through the back loop of the last round stitches. So always make sure to start your stitches on the right side. So here I'm going to make a slip knot using this orange yarn, and now I'm going to pull this slip knot between, or you can say in the chain, through the chain 1 space between the puff stitches, and we're going to chain 1. So make a chain of 1, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And here we're going to make 4 double crochets together. So this is the first double crochet where we pull through only 2 loops, and this is the second double crochet. Here too we pull through only 2 loops, and this is the third double crochet where we are pulling through only 2 loops, and this is the fourth double crochet where we pull through only 2 loops, such that we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops in the hook. And then we are going to pull through all these loops, and then we're going to make a chain of 2. So similarly we're going to make another 4 double crochets together in the next chain 1 space. So insert your hook and pull under the stitch and pull through 2 loops alone. Similarly do it a second time, pull through 2 loops alone. Do it the third time, so the third double crochet, pull through 2 loops, and the fourth double crochet as well, you're going to pull through only 2 loops. Now pull through all the 5 loops and then make a chain of 2. Similarly, repeat this pattern a third time. And another thing I wanted to say is, like, while you're working on these stitches, make sure to hold the tail yarn of this current round behind the stitches, so that while making the stitches itself you can hide the tail yarn. So this is the third uh, 4 double crochets together stitch, and between the stitches we have a chain of 2. We're going to repeat this pattern a total of 12 times. So we will have 12 4 double crochets together stitch, having a chain of 2 between them. So repeat this pattern till the end of this round. So once you here I am almost at the end of the round. I have one more stitch to complete. So here I'm making the last 4 DC double crochet together stitch, and after this, as usual, I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. So you could have marked the first stitch. For me it is not much of a difficulty in identifying the stitch, but in case you find marking the stitch easier, please do so. So once you have 5 loops in the hook, pull through all of them, make a chain of 2, and then slip stitch to the top of the first stitch. So once you have slip stitch to the first stitch, make a chain of 1, pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim off the yarn. If you like to use a needle to stitch in the tail yarn, please leave a longer tail yarn so that it is easy to thread into a tapestry needle and stitch it in. Here, as you can see, I'm using a smaller crochet hook, and in this case I am just pulling this yarn through this cluster of stitches to hide it. Now this is the last round. Here too I'm starting in the usual manner of making a slip knot, and I'm using a darker rust or brick kind of color for the last round, and I'm going to pull this yarn between, or you can say under the chain 2 space, and after pulling under the chain 2 space we're going to make the petals in this round. So we go for the petals. The pattern is first to make a chain of 2, followed by 2 double crochets in the same stitch. This is the first double crochet, followed by the second double crochet, and on top of the second double crochet we're going to make a chain 2 picot. So to make a chain 2 picot, first make a chain of 2 on top of the second double crochet, and then insert your hook into the base 2 loops and pull a loop through it and make a slip stitch. Now make another double crochet in the same space, and we're going to chain 2 again, and then slip stitch into the same space. So this is our first petal done. To make the next petal, we are going to slip stitch into the next chain 2 space. So just make a slip stitch into the next chain 2 space, and then repeat this pattern. So to repeat this pattern, first make a chain of 2. Now make 2 double crochets in the same space. This is the first double crochet, followed by the second double crochet. Now make a chain 2 picot on top of the second double crochet. So make a chain of 2 and insert your hook into the base 2 loops and make a slip stitch, followed by the third double crochet in the same space. Make a chain of 2 and slip stitch into the same space. Similarly, slip stitch into the next chain 2 space to make the third petal. So we'll be basically repeating this same pattern, and we will repeat this pattern total of 12 times, such that at the end of this round you should have a total of 12 petals. So continue to repeat this pattern till the end of this round. One suggestion is, if you would like the coasters to hold its shape better, you can spray a stiffening spray once your project is completed. I generally use a stiffening spray that I got from Amazon, and then I place a heavy pan on top of it. So this way the coaster lays flat and it also holds its shape better. So here I am just fast forwarding the pattern, since it is repeating the same steps. So as you know, we should have a total of 12 petals by the end of this round. And here too, once we reach the last petal, I'll just show you how to slip stitch it to the first stitch. So in the previous rounds we were stitching it to the top of the first stitch, but since here we are just making the petal and we want a last stitch to be at the base or at the bottom, so I'll just show you in a bit how to do that. So just make the last petal in the last chain 2 space, and once you are done with the pattern for the petal, you are just going to make a slip stitch into the chain 2 space, that is the first chain 2 space. So you're just making a slip stitch at the base and not on top of a stitch. After that, chain 1 and trim the yarn and stitch in this tail yarn, and your coaster is actually ready. So just stitch in the tail yarn into this cluster, because it is easier to hide the tail yarn in the cluster. You can also dab a bit of glue to the ends of the tail yarn so that they do not come off later. I really hope you enjoyed this coaster tutorial. I have a lot of other coaster tutorials which are available in the coaster playlist of my channel. Please do refer them as well. Also, do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos, and give me a thumbs up and share your comments. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day, guys.